Duterte's war on drugs, explained. From July 1st to August 30th of this year, 550,000 houses were visited, 12,900 suspects arrested, 800 search warrants implemented, 895 suspects killed, and 626,000 drug users and pushers surrendered. This means that 97.8% surrendered, 2% arrested, and only 0.14% killed. What about the accusation of extrajudicial killings? Did Duterte condone extrajudicial killings? This has been shown to be not true. In fact, in his inaugural speech he said,
"As a lawyer and a former prosecutor, I know the limits of the power and authority of the president. I know what is legal and what is not. My adherence to due process and the rule of law is uncompromising."
and in his State of the Nation address he said,
To our police officers and other officials, do your job, and you will have the unwavering support of the office of the president. I will be with you all the way. Abuse your authority, and there will be a hell to pay. For you will have become worse than criminality itself. I order the National Police Commission to hasten the conduct of investigation and adjudication of administrative cases against police officers involved in criminal activity and illegal and prescribe policies on lifestyle checks for PNP members.
what about his shoot to kill orders? This is what he actually said.
I repeat again for all everybody's consumption. Do not kill if you are not in danger of losing your life. But in effecting an arrest, when there is a violent resistance, because in effecting an arrest, you have to overcome the guy to bring him to the folds of the law. If you cannot bring him to the police station, if you cannot place him under the control of the law, because that is your job to arrest, which means to overcome the resistance. But if the resistance is violent, thereby placing your life in jeopardy, shoot and shoot him dead. Can I be more clearer than that?
But who is behind the vigilante killings?
For the extrajudicial killing, they say, it's not the work of the police to be wrapping people with plastics and put them into the bag. That is not the job of the police. I just told him that one bullet will do. Why do you have to wrap it as it waste your time?
So, who are actually behind these killings? First, there are drug groups killing other members of competing drug groups. This is also happening in other countries. Second, drug lords hire assassins to kill users and pushers who have surrendered to the police. This is to silence them and prevent them from exposing the drug lords. There are also other deaths unrelated to the war on drugs, which are blamed on Duterte. The opposition who controls most of the local media blame these deaths to Duterte to make him appear as a mass murderer.
Pero yung pinatay na hindi ng mga sako binat na plastic. The police, I assure you, will not waste their time on that. So kung pati ba naman yan isanay ninyo na wala akong kamuang-muang, pakisali na lang po sa namatay ng lahat dyan sa punerarya, pati yung may mga cancer, isali na lang ninyo. May mga diabetes, may mga... Kasi yung lahat na nakita ninyong patay, binibilang ninyo sa akin. Baka yung gusto ninyo, yung taga Davao dito, bugbilang ako sa punerarya. Lahat ng patay, bakit lang yan ang binabalot ng mga sako? Because the accusation itself is very stupid. It assumes right away na yung may patay dyan, gobyerno ang pumatay.
Police officers found involved in drugs are relieved, investigated, and prosecuted. In fact, Duterte publicly named officials involved in drugs. There are generals, police officials, congressmen, mayors, judges, and a senator. Drug lords and public officials involved in drugs are now trying to bring the fight in the international arena due to the fact that 91% of the Filipinos support Duterte. Will they succeed?
The problem of the West Philippine Sea.
Alam no po ninyo, nung ako'y nasa Senado, Senate President ako noon, inimbita ako ni President Aquino isang hapon doon sa palasyo, doon sa cabinet room. Nung dumating ako doon, ako ang unang dumating. Pangalawa, dumating si Senator Trillanes. Pareho kaming senador noon. Meron siyang ibinubulong sa akin na treason. Hindi ko naintindihan yung gusto niyang sabihin. Pagkatapos nung dumating na si Albert Del Rosario, kalihim ng Department of Foreign Affairs, at kasama niyang presidente, umupo sila. Bini-briefing kami ni Del Rosario tungkol doon sa nangyari sa Scarborough, Seoul. At mukhang nagkaroon ng alitan ang pangkat natin at ang pangkat ng China doon. Ngayon, sinabi ni Trillanes na nagpunta siya sa China at kinausap niya yung mga namumuno sa China tungkol doon sa bagay na sa problema na yun. Ako naman, bilang presidente ng Senado noon, tinanong ko sa kanya, anong karapatan mo na nagpunta sa China? Yung ba, kusang loob mo lamang ang nagpunta ron? Sabi niya, hindi. Nagpunta ako doon, may authority ako. Sinong nag-utos sa'yo na pumunta ron? Pagkatapos sumagot si Presidente Aquino, sabi niya, ako ang nag-utos sa kanya. Sinabi ko kay Presidente Aquino na dahan-dahan, Mr. President, medyo masalimut yata yan sapagkat hindi natin alam kung anong mga pinag-usapan nila ni Trillanes doon sa mga kinakausap niya sa China. Kaya mag-iingat tayo. Pagkatapos noon, si Secretary Del Rosario, binigyan ako ng sulat ni Ambassador Brady natin sa China na nagre-reklamo na itong si Trillanes ay binabypass siya. Yung pala, si Trillanes pasok at labas sa China na tila hindi na dumadaan sa immigration dahil inuutusan yata siya ni Presidente Aquino. Kaya sinabihan ko sila na dapat huwag natin gawin yun sapagkat bansa ang nauukol dito. Nagkaroon ng mediation. Ngayon, ang mediator pala doon ay ang Amerika. Ang question ngayon na hindi ko masagot at hanggang ngayon hindi ko alam kung sino ang humingi ng tulong ng Amerika. Ang Amerika ang nag-mediate. Nagkaroon ng kasunduan dahil sa mediation ng Amerika na umatras bawat China at Pilipinas doon sa area ng Scarborough. Sinunod ng Pilipinas yung kasunduan sa ilalim ng mediation ng Amerika, pero ang China ay hindi sumunod. Ngayon, ang question ko, kung ang Amerika ang naging mediator, unang question, sino ang humingi ng tulong ng Amerika? Pangalawa, bakit nung hindi tinupad ng China ang kasunduan, numatras din siya? Bakit hindi man lang pinagsabihan ng Amerika ang China na tuparin niya yung kasunduan? Ang impression ko bagay, parang ginamit lang tayo doon sa bagay na yun. Ano man na interest ang nauukol para sa Amerika, hindi ko alam. Pero ganon ang impression ko. Hanggang ngayon, hindi ko masagot kung bakit yung mediator natin ay hindi tayo tinulungan para tumupad naman ang China para doon sa kasunduan na umatras sila. Kaya ngayon, sila ang nakapwesto doon, tayo nawala. Yan po ang natatandaan ko na pangyayari dyan sa problema ng tinatawag natin na panatag, isla ng panatag.
Senator, I would like the people to know, you have given us really almost the foundation of your talk tonight and probably your answers. Na bakit pumayag ang Pilipinas na umatras tayo? I would like to know if you know what drove Aquino to reach that decision to order the Navy to retreat.
Yun daw ang kasunduan na natamo ng dalawang panig sa ilalim ng mediation ng Amerika, Mr. President. Kaya dapat siguro si Albert Del Rosario malaman sa kanya kung sino ba ang bilang Secretary of Foreign Affairs noon, sino bang humingi ng tulong ng Amerika? Si Ambassador Quisha ba, na siya ang ambassador ng Pilipinas sa Washington noon, o ang mismong palasyo, si Presidente Aquino? Hindi natin alam eh. Ngayon, dahil doon sa pangyayaring yun nagkakuan tayo, na nalugi tayo. Dahil umatras tayo, ay China, hindi nila mapaalis doon sa lugar na yun.
This is really the dilemma of the nation. For me, sir,